Week 4 of the 4th season for Play More is finally here, and this week we're taking on the Manshine City Necrozmas, coached by who? This is going to be a battle of two of the best teams in this early season. Tyler, how big of a matchup is this going to be?
Well, John, I go on a totally voluntary vacation for 1 week, and I come back and suddenly we've lost a match, but the way this league is played out, there's a big group of teams at 2-1, and as you can see based on the standings, clearly there's an advantage to having multiple Necrozmas compared to just one Necrozma. This could be a huge match moving forward because whoever wins this has a chance to jump all the way up to the number 2 spot, maybe even number 1 if somehow the Samurats were to lose this week.
But it's definitely not going to be an easy week at all. Looking at this team, it's going to be a slog. Everything I've heard about our opponent, they're fantastic, but they do like stalls. So Tyler, what is Ben bringing to try to break through that strategy?
Well, it's not the most offensive team, as you can see on screen. Maybe not all of our attacking Pokemon, obviously Darkrai there to put some pressure on. Our fans are here, and most notably, Noog is making his debut. So if you want to know everything Ben has got cooked up, including why Noog is here for this battle, you can watch the extended team builder. The link is in the description. But with that being said, let's see what the opponent brought.
Okay, Tyler, it's time to see what the opponent brought. I'm not expecting much offense, and I'm not seeing much. There is Meowscarada and possibly Galarian Slowbro, but if I think about that too long, I'm gonna get sad. That thing is evil. But what is not evil, and what brings me a lot of joy, is this brand new limited edition Bubby plush. It's only gonna be available for a little bit longer, so if you haven't picked one up now, get one while you still can. This thing is here to celebrate the PM7 channel hitting 1 million subscribers, and in addition to this, we also have a 10% off code, 1 million, that you can use to get 10% off this plush or anything else in the store. But, Tyler, it is time to hop into this battle. It could be a long one.
All right, we know that Noog is leading things off on our side, so... Well, okay, I guess it's Slowbro.
Homer.
On the other side.
The Slowbro.
Good to see you, Homer. All right. We're underway. We're battling, boys.
A little jarring, but still we get the curse off, it seems, which is exciting. I was hoping that we'd have the Gliscor start, as Ben had a phenomenal plan with our Muck verse the Gliscor. Then they'd bring this thing in. We'd get the weakness policy, we'd kill it with a knockoff, it'd all be great. It would not be ideal if we curse, they attack us, and then kill us just with 2 moves, and Noog goes down immediately. But Tyler, this could be very amazing and awesome.
I think Noog being here in the first place is amazing and awesome, and I know from Ben's side, there's a thought that a lot of times in this battle, there could be some over predictions on the other side. And there we get one of them because this is a really, really good battler that we're going up against. And to be a really good battler, you got to take some chances. And for Ben, it sets up to where he can be a little bit more conservative and just lay back and make what seems like the simple play instead of trying to force things. And there, it works out super well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've battled against a wide variety of battlers, and I actually found that a lot of the time, the best battlers are so much easier to go against. It's easier to figure out what they're going to do because they're going to predict that you're going to go for the optimal play. And sometimes they get really angry when you don't go for the optimal play, even if you've just made a prediction that was correct. And it works out so well here. So well here, but Homer lives with a sliver, and if that thing has regenerator, which it almost definitely does, that's gonna be disappointing. But the strategy at least worked out. Noog hit the field, it did what it needed to do, and if nothing else, this Pokemon will be easier to take out next time it's in. But so close, but yet so far, Tyler.
Yeah, I do think the move here is to let Noog go, just because I don't know how much you're able to get out of it here. If it weren't for that Rocky Helmet, it might be a roll on the Psychic, whether or not it kills. So I would think on the opponent's side, the play is to just stay in here and pick up the kill.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. Again, it could be another case of what we've talked about, and we've seen this go in our favor.
Tyler,
of
Shadow Sneak. They don't know we don't have Shadow Sneak. They don't know we don't have Shadow Sneak.
Let it be Gliscor.
Oh, the Glizzy Laser.
That's. Ah.
I'm sorry. I will not be professional when our opponent is sending out the Glizzy Glazer just to get Ice Punch directly in the face. You cannot name that thing the Glizzy Glazer and switch that into an Ice Punch. I will laugh in your face every single time. I feel a little bit bad, not too bad. That is my favorite thing that I've ever seen in Draft League, Tyler. I don't care if we lose this battle at this point. That was incredible. You might have to take over from here. I don't know how to continue. That was...
And of every Pokemon on our team to pull it off, Nuke. What an incredible start. Wow. It feels good to be back.
Oh, man.
I was really betting on... I was really hopeful that Nuke would have a really good debut, like a really impressive battle. I was really hoping, had my fingers crossed for that. And I'm not disappointed in the slightest. I mean, not that I was expecting that or anything, but I was hopeful. Wow.
To bring this back to reality, bring it back to the battle, as I was saying earlier, sometimes the best battlers are the easiest, at least for me, to predict. And there, it makes sense to predict the Shadow Sneak. You see Curse, Muck, almost every single time it's going to have Shadow Sneak. But when you can get into the head of a really good opponent, realize that they want to make the prediction, they want to save the Pokemon, they want to get themselves in a really opportune spot, you can catch them on that prediction. They got a little bit too big for their britches in that moment. There was no reason to make a play that bold. Caught them, and that's going to be huge, Tyler. If this is a stallier team, losing Gliscor is a huge loss for them, especially if that was their Pokemon that was going to set up spikes. Now, this is a set that Ben was ready for, which is freaking fantastic as we get the Iron Defense. And already, our coach is just prediction after prediction, whether it was the prep before or the plays in the battle. This is phenomenal. I don't know if we've seen a start like this, Tyler.
Well, and this was a battle that Ben knew, not just because of the ability of the coach on the other side, but we looked at the standings.
Yep.
We know this is one of the top teams in the league. If you were going to win and compete for a championship in this league, you've got to be able to come out in a battle like this and put on a good showing and show that you can prepare properly for it. And now we see Ben fighting fire with fire. You've got Stall on the other side. All right, it's not a heavily offensive team. What are you going to do about Blossom? What do you do?
Well, and this is where the prep comes back. The entire point of Noog was to get rid of Galarian Slowbro so we could win with Blossom. Gliscor is gone. This thing is not getting earthquaked by that. The Doug Trio's already out of there. Now we have Snarl. I don't know if it kills here, but it's going to make sure that Flamethrower is not doing too much damage to us, and it's definitely a two-shot. Okay. Special attack drops. Okay. That is what we expected to see from this opponent.
See, Ben in the corner, he told us he was going to make sure to count out every single slack off so that every single one is accounted for. And he knows, because of the way that the strategy is on the other side, that they are going to look to use up likely every single one of them.
Yep. Yeah, and, I've played a lot of competitive Pokemon. And when I used to play a lot more, not Draft League, but just competitive singles, you get into the highest tier with the best players. You see a lot of stall at the top. Some of the best players to ever play singles competitively have really perfected stall. It's not a super fun thing to go against. It's not always the most fun to watch. But oftentimes I find some of the best that's annoying. Some of the best players are behind stall. So we've had some great predictions. We've had some great sets. We cannot take our foot off the gas pedal at this point, as our opponent is finally settling in, and this could be a long battle, and they are laying in wait to unveil whatever their scary strategy is to beat us offensively. I don't know what that is, especially with Gliscor gone, but they didn't come into this battle just to stall us. They're going to wear us down and try to take us out, probably with Meowscarada and Doug Trio. So The war of attrition is on.
Well, it's worth noting, if you've played Pokemon regularly, Slack Off normally has 5 PP.
Mm-hmm.
You could boost that bad boy. That's perfectly legal. So probably got 8 of those total to be used in a battle like this. And this is why I love this set from Ben, because you are content to sit here and waste as many of those as possible to where realistically, yes, almost 100 damage has been done, but your max defense up, you've made their special attack nothing.
Yeah.
If you waste all of those slack offs, and let's say another 100 damage is dealt, what totally is achieved there? I know the goal on the other side, like you talked about, chip away some, and then you bring in those offensive Pokemon to try to clean up as much as they can. A net neutral here is a net positive for Ben.
Yeah, and I actually think this game is super fascinating, the chess game that's going on between the coaches. From what I know, this coach actually has not uploaded any of their battles this season, partially, I assume, in hope that no one knows all of the strategies they're throwing out there. And I would have to imagine if you're in a spot like that, you can actually get to a point where, you know, maybe you believe your opponents are not as ready for what you have cooking on the other side. But our coach is well enough aware of what our opponent likes to do that we have rest on this. The fact that they're staying in and wasting all of their slack offs tells me that they are not expecting rest and they think they can whittle down Blossom and win this battle. They can't. They have no chance to win this 1v1. They're going to run out of slack offs and then we can just rest up kind of forever, which is fantastic. So there is always a chance that there is a crit, but we have way more intel on our opponent than they do on us. And I really, really love what is happening here. With them calm minding and using all the slack offs, I don't know, Tyler, maybe you see something else. It feels like they have no idea that we have rest in our back pocket.
No, I don't think so. And on the other side of that, I mentioned the damage that could be done to Blossom in this exchange. I think it's also worth noting that Ben had said specifically there were 3 Pokemon that Blossom was really here to take care of them. Hisuian Zoroark was one of those. It's not here. The other is Hisuian Avalugg alongside of our guy Homer. And there are multiple other options on the team that can take care of the Avalugg if for some reason Blossom doesn't get out of this in great shape or can't get a rest off at some point. So even if we just have a 1-to-1, both go down, that's a win and Blossom has served its purpose. And that's worst case scenario in this exchange. Absolutely.
It is a little scary that this thing is getting set up, but the fact that it's not going to be able to get its special attack up, like it's useless, you know? We have more ability to heal up than it does. I don't know, it's a little curious to see this continue. Maybe it is what you said, you know, our opponent just wants to make sure they can take Blossom down, even if we take this thing down, but so far there hasn't really been any moves to get damage on us. And maybe, no, I was going to say maybe here. No, I mean, is there a possibility of stored power on the other side? Like, I'm not sure if there's some strategy that we are possibly missing. And maybe it's time to look into that as we've been sitting here for a while.
Well, and looking at what Ben gives us before every battle, what he thinks the moves are on the opposing team for whatever they bring, what he thinks those moves are going to be. He's not thinking that that's a possibility. And we have seen, for the most part, what he thought it would be, with the exception of, I don't know that he was fully sold on there being Calm Mind. I think he thought Flamethrower was going to be there. Some psychic move, whether it was Psychic, Psyshock, something, and obviously the Slack Off. I don't think, especially with how much that Slowbro would have to cover here.
Wait, haven't we seen all the moves?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my bad. Once you see the same thing happen enough turns in a row, I'm trying to come up with something to talk about.
Wait, I need to keep them for Avalugg. What am I doing?
Well, Ben just smacked himself in the head, so he must have had some kind of revelation as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if I figured it might have to do with the snarls and flipping over to starting to use some body presses here so it doesn't just turn into using every single snarl at this point, because this is not going to be the only war of attrition during this battle. Now, the good news is, on the other side, the slack offs are gone. So this one is going to be over. decently soon. This is either the last or the second to last one. And we'll move on, and we'll see some new matchup.
Yep.
And Ben is in a spot to where you can just use these body presses and save the snarls for any future setup attempts that are going to happen, which he told us he expects that to be the case, and he did not want to waste all of them against the Slowbro, which is why I'm guessing halfway through this exchange he started smacking himself in that beautiful forehead.
Yeah, and at this point, I think it's very clear that the opponent is not expecting rest to be on our sets. I think it makes sense not to unveil that now. Just get this thing out of the way, not mess around or possibly let anything else on the other side set up. It's really nice to see that thing go down. Galarian Slowbro is a traumatizing Pokemon for this organization. I never want to see it again, Tyler. Never again. No more. I am done with that Pokemon. But it is going to be really interesting. Does rest come into play? The opponent was there trying to whittle down this Pokemon. There was a reason for that. Himothy, too. Okay. The first nickname they threw out there as it got punched in the face, I wasn't there for. Himothy,
at least
too.
Himothy's shiny. I mean,
you know, this is an elite nickname. He's bringing me back. He's bringing me back. I don't know.
Is he Himothy?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I was going to ask, Tyler. Thank you. It's why I need you very desperately here.
This is where we fully see, like you talked about, I don't think there's any expectation that this move was going to be anything other than body press. You switch over to the Terra Ghost, be safe.
Yep.
You avoid that entirely.
Yep.
And now a perfect time to bring out the rest.
Yep. Ah, interesting. Okay. We see the Stealth Rocks. Another reason Gliscor going down was so unbelievably huge. That thing almost definitely had spikes up. Just get up hazards, try to wear down this team, and then win at the end with Dugtrio and Meowscarada. The question, though, is can Himothy 2, not Himothy 1, Himothy 2, the second, can this thing handle Snarl? How much is this going to do? Is it like max specially defensive? What is going on over there? And this is where Stall is really, really working out. Annoyingly, like we are probably not going to have enough Snarls to also get rid of this thing. You know, like they can do War of Attrition into War of Attrition, but they do switch into Holy Moly. Interesting.
I wonder what move we will likely see here. I don't. They're probably going to endure again.
Yeah, definitely going to endure.
And that's on Ben's side. As to us, it can be a little frustrating and time-consuming to watch these sequences happen over and over again. On Ben's side, it becomes predictable okay, this is a dangerous strategy that the opponent has. Some things are going to be inevitable with it, but the things that you know are going to happen, you can fully avoid putting yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, absolutely. I assume we just have to keep attacking this thing. Okay, and back into Avalugg, I assume? Yeah, okay. The battle is grinded to a halt, and it kind of feels like our opponent is going to try to stall us out of moves now. Which
I do want to throw this out just because we've got the back knowledge that Ben has too. With the Dugtrio, to clarify, the Endure is to set up what is most likely a play with the berry that it has. If its HP goes down, you Endure, you live with one, it would boost its speed and become a setup Pokemon all of a sudden. So priority number one for Ben there, avoid that.
Yeah, no, and I think what the opponent's doing is really smart at this point. You know, this thing is terrifying to have it fully set up. But it really can't do too much damage with Snarl. Once it runs out of Snarls, it can't do anything to the Galarian Avalugg, or Hisuian, I don't know. Galarian Slowbro, Hisuian Avalugg, there's a lot of things happening.
It's from somewhere.
It's from somewhere, exactly.
It might have moved at some point. Like, who's to say that, you know, like you could be born somewhere and then you go somewhere. You know this, John. It just depends on where you want to say that you're from. Maybe it's a Sinnohian Avalugg.
Haldaean.
I don't know.
Avalugg.
That's
I'm
what
going
I'm
to
thinking.
venture a guess. But I do really like our opponent's strategy at that point to get themselves back in the game. When you have a Pokemon that set up in front of you, it is so terrifying. The best players in draft know how to keep themselves calm, keep their wits about them, and figure out how to maneuver, pivot enough to hopefully get themselves back in the game. Our opponent has fully done that. We still have the advantage here. And now our coach is going to have to find a new way to break through. We've broken through 2 defensive Pokemon in a big way. But there's still this fish and the Avalugg, and they are not going to be easy to beat.
Well, and if you're like me and you see a Lomomola and you're like, why is this thing here? What role can it possibly play? As we could see from the damage that Surf did, that thing's assault vested.
Yep.
So it's getting a special defense boost, but also something that I didn't realize until we were getting ready for this. Its base HP stat is 165.
Yep.
So a very appropriate fit for this team alongside your favorite ability, Regenerator.
I do love me some Regenerator. Very much so. Against, our opponent with this team, it's not my favorite. It's not ideal. It's very hard to break through, but it is a really, really fantastic ability. Getting Flip Turn has really turned that fish into a monster to deal with. But if we are able to get... Come on, man. These nicknames, it's
a roller coaster.
Chef's kiss. This is... okay. I was going to say, getting Stealth Rocks up would be so helpful against a team with this amount of switching. But at this point, getting a super effective Moonblast off against this thing is just really helpful. If we think that's something we can do, switching back into Blossom, I do actually really like, is Blossom isn't going to be super helpful in winning the game at this point. We're probably not breaking through anything with this. I mean, late game, it definitely could do the thing. And here, you can't trick this. So that is actually really beautiful. I love that scouting from the coach. There was no reason not to switch into this, whether it was an attacking move or trick. And now, Ben can make the appropriate play, which seems to be a pretty bold switch into this. Except, wait, no, because it's going to be Choice Scarf, Meowscarada, allowing Ben to make whatever switch he wants, knowing there's going to be a switch on the other side. I was a little bit too slow there, Tyler, our coach, 10 steps ahead of me. That was beautiful. That was gorgeous. That was incredible.
I don't care how this match resolves itself. Obviously, we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
Ben has put on a masterclass, and it's a combination of what we've talked about. Well, at least, when I was here and we were winning the first 2 weeks of the season. A masterclass of in-battle adjustments and on-the-fly moves combined with the preparation has been so good this season.
Just so incredible. It's really been special. I mean, this is just gearing up to be a special season. I don't know where that means we're going to end up in the end, but battle after battle, it's been so entertaining. The prep has been on point. And whether or not we win every single one of these games, I know we're going to be in a fantastic spot. A rare over prediction on our coach's side. But I really just love where Ben has gotten himself into. Now, we do know that Meowscarada can outspeed us. Like, this play was made possible by Choice Scarf trick on that thing. So I think that may have been a little bit of a mistake. As we do see the imposter come out, but it's not like a game-ending mistake. It's just like a little bit of an uh-oh SpaghettiOs,
Yeah, and I think on Ben's side, despite how grueling of a match this has been, we've done a really good job of avoiding too much chip damage to where Ben can still switch around and avoid a lot of different things.
Yep. Yeah.
Because one of the main concerns, and it's what we were talking about earlier, is on the opponent's side, the goal, as long as it's going to take, is to wear stuff down and to set it up for, in the blink of an eye, all of a sudden a 30-minute match is over in 5 turns.
Yep.
Ben has avoided being put into that position.
Yeah, and he's really masterfully put our opponent on the back foot time and time again by making the incredible play, well, no, I'm going to say incredible play. Our coach is incredible. Look at that, man. He's amazing. Bringing in the Zamazenta on the Choice Scarf trick allows him this turn to kind of force the opponent into a U-turn, bring in Clefable, get the Rocky Help damage, and hopefully get Stealth Rocks up here to further punish that Meowscarada and make it harder and harder for that thing to do what it needs to do. Now, Dugtrio is going to try to end Robin here. You already tipped your hand. Doesn't seem like you put any money on Clefable this week.
I did not put any money on anything, nor have I ever. What are we talking about? Where can I put this at to where you won't see it? Okay. Can you cut the camera off real quick? I gotta move some stuff up.
I unfortunately am not in charge of any of the technical operations. I am just the old talkity talk man, and I own the team. Tyler,
I'm back. I'm good. I was.
Yes.
There was a fly. I had to shoo it away.
Yes, Stealth Rocks. Very important at this stage of the battle, but it looks like our coach may just want to try to get rid of this Dugtrio if possible. I actually really, really love this play, as there could be Endure at this point, but we can very easily go for the Moonlight here. I don't love the spot the opponent has put themselves in. I don't know if they really have a more optimal play, but I mean, there's not really anything they can do here. You know, like we got the free Moon or the Moonblast off. Now the opponent needs to properly predict the next Moonblast, and if our coach can heal up and then get rocks up, I mean, A+.
Well, and in this spot, I think Ben is be able to realize I think that the berry should have activated if that was the case, if it were holding that. So I think he now knows it's more likely. I think it's called the Kustap, that one, that we will not know for sure until the opponent actually goes for a move, because it gives guaranteed priority when your health is low rather than the speed boost.
Dude, you nailed that. That was awesome.
That was pretty good.
Dude,
I just wanted to I just wanted to cover all of the different, regional variants of the pronunciation.
Right. Yeah, no, and again, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
You can't get every single prediction correct here with the Imposter. I think this was a really good safe switch for Ben. Don't lose anything. Good play on the opponent's side, going for that U-turn. Probably expecting us not to go back in Clefable, not risking that. And now they can bring in the optimal Pokemon to try to claw their way back. But at this point, I don't know if I see what our opponent needs to do to get back in the game. I mean, they are slowly getting things whittled down. We still have Darkrai waiting, and we have the Play More fans as well waiting there. So we do see Holy Moly come back in. Tyler, what berry is it holding?
Custap.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was Gustavo. I think that's correct. I do like that. And I think at this point, it's just like, you know what? Do your worst, Dugtrio. I think this is a do your worst moment. As okay. There you go, Gustavo. Endeavor. And the Dugtrio goes down. I love this for both sides. You know, the opponent needed to get rid of the Shield Dog, but we don't need the Shield Dog to win. So, like, hey, I don't know if our opponent could have done really anything else there. That was a great way to use that Dugtrio, but at the same point, I don't know if it really gets them... like, it looks better in battle. I don't know if the worry meter rises at all.
Well, and one thing that Ben told us as well, because you may be wondering there, it feels like Blossom has really done most of what we need it to do. Why not just let it go? Another thing Ben told us is if he could keep a Pokemon alive, he's going to try to, for the sake of differential, in case this thing gets stalled out to the maximum time. And if that were to happen, differential all of a sudden matters. Normally it's just do what you have to do to win the battle.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that matters in a spot like this. Obviously, you'd like to take care of everything earlier than that.
Sure.
But I like Ben taking it into account.
No, it's really I was looking at imposter.
It's imposter. It is.
Yeah, it is really, really important to be aware of how your opponent plays. Again, stall is not most people's favorite strategy. I've seen some of the best players utilize it and utilize it well. And if you're not ready for that, and they get you at the end of the battle, and it's 2-2, but their Pokemon have more HP than you, you can still lose that. And at the end of the day, hey, maybe that one loss is why your team didn't make playoffs. You know, you got to do whatever you can to win here. So not only is it really good just in case this battle does go to the timer, but it also could be big if we win. Let's say that allows us to win like 3-0 instead of 2-0. That could be a big deal, as this league, the worst team is 1-2, and there's only one undefeated team left after 3 weeks. It's gonna come down to differential for sure. So for all of these reasons, so important to be in the spot, especially when we don't see a very clear-cut way of how the opponent could win this battle quickly. So if we find a way to break through, I don't know if they can get rid of another Pokemon. This is their most offensive Pokemon left, and we've seen that it cannot break through your favorite Pokemon that you may or may not have put money on, Clefable.
The answer is may not, did not, have not, will not, ever, maybe, wouldn't do it. But this goes back to what we talked about even after the first week, because we felt really good about winning the first battle, starting undefeated, and then we look at the standings, and we were at the bottom playoff spot. And it's because of the fact that that differential matters a lot here. And like you mentioned, in a league where it's been so balanced so far, there are 16 teams in this league. Coming into this week, 9 of them are 1-2. So not just does every battle matter, every single kill within each battle matters for that differential. And if you can rack that up, especially in a battle like this where you expect it to just have to grind it out and do what you can to survive, even better.
Yeah, and at this point, I feel like Ben is gearing up to break through the opponent's team. We get the Stealth Rocks up. Flip turn, U-turn, flip turn, U-turn, flip turn, U-turn. Obviously, this thing does have Regenerator, but Meowscarada has no way to heal up outside of a wish from the fish into the cat. But, you know, there's always a chance if you do that you're switching it in on an offensive move. That would not be ideal. I think at this point, actually, I don't even know what they need to do. Because I was going to say they need a crit, but the move they're probably going to go for always crits. So, I mean, we can Moonlight. We could just try to kill it. The trick! Okay. And Ben makes the correct play here. Didn't happen the way I thought. I thought he was gearing up for the offensive. I didn't think he was going for yet another Clefable kill. Oh, boy. But with Stealth Rocks, I don't think they can really switch out. I don't think it makes any sense here. Okay, they are going to switch out. They can switch back in one more time. Maybe they think they could get a wish into this. Either way, Tyler, it looks like Darkrai or the Playmore fans may have their opportunity to strike. Meowscarada can no longer outspeed either of those Pokemon. Well, our fans once they get set up, I should say.
Yeah, and I just love how Ben has been so patient waiting to set this up, knowing all along that the condition was just going to be, after a certain point, Meowscarada is going to try to use Trick. And if it uses it on the right Pokemon, this battle's all but over. This was one of the options for if it uses it on this Pokemon, this battle is all but over. And now it's just a matter of what we've talked about. Preserve as much of your team as you can, take care of business on the other side, and get out of here with the biggest differential possible.
Yeah, I am a little curious of this Moonblast play here. I don't know exactly what our coach is expecting here. Maybe it's just a wish and just wants to punish that as much as he can. There is no reason to make the exciting play when you can make the safe play. I know that to be true. But I would like to see the exciting play.
Well, and to be fair to Ben, it's like you said, it's very risk-free. Like,
yes,
you can spam Moonblast here, and you're not going to be punished for it at all.
No, not at all. I am curious to see what the opponent is going to bring in at this point. I feel like it has to be Avalugg.
I think they've got to go Avalugg to try to get rid of these rocks.
Yeah, okay. And we did not get the Terra up on the mouse, right? No. Okay. I assume at this point you bring in Darkrai and then you win, right?
That's the goal. It's just a matter of I'm with you now on when does that happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, Darkrai has the Nasty Plot, outspeeds everything. Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, knockoff. Okay, I mean, this 2 shots. And we will outspeed because of the Choice Scarf, so... Maybe? I mean, I guess there's no reason...
I'm guessing here would be the switch. I think because that 2 shots, the thought would be on the other side. They want to keep the Avalugg up.
Okay. Yeah,
I think here hoping for the double.
Just keep Darkrai as safe as possible. I don't really think our coach can go wrong here. It is...
I think that either it's a switch or it's just to recover from the Avalugg.
Yeah, there's no reason to do anything that would be remotely risky. At this point, they're going to bring this thing in. I assume we just Nasty Plot without even thinking. Unless maybe there's a calc here to see if Dark Pulse can 2-shot. But I don't see why you don't just Nasty Plot. Go for the Dark Pulse after that. Win the game. But maybe, hey, we get the flinch this time. We didn't get the flinch this time. Okay. I do see why Ben did what he did now with how much Play Rough did. You know, I'm getting a little sleepy, I'll be honest. We did say Play Rough earlier. So that does make sense. Now we see the Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot would allow us to kill it. It's not going to kill us with Play Rough. We outspeed everything on their team. I think we kill. I don't know if it really mattered in what order of operations we did the Nasty Plot. So I think this is finally it. I think we're going to be saved. Oh no. No.
Guys, if you've made it this far into the video, do me a favor and comment with no context. Maybe you could say like, wow, or that's crazy, or oh, and this timestamp. Just right here. So that people in the comments that didn't make it this far, they're scrolling down, they're like, dude, what did I miss this far into the video? You can put whatever you want on there, any kind of exclamation. You could say that it was the funniest joke you've ever heard. Just go ahead and make a comment with this timestamp. Just so we can confuse some people that didn't make it down here, that decided, you know what, I think Ben's got this in the bag. I don't want to watch the rest of this. No. Make sure they get to this part, this exact part.
Force them to watch. And just like that, one of the best players in this league goes down. And what is our coach doing?
I am.
Oh me! Oh my! That is a bold statement. Wow. Our coach, not the biggest fan of going against Stall. That's bold by him, Tyler. There's a very good chance we play against this opponent once again come playoff time, as they are fantastic. Hats off to them. This was a great battle on both sides, but sometimes you can show up, do your best, and just the other coach better in every facet. Doesn't mean you didn't play well, doesn't mean you didn't prep well. I think that was one of the best games our coach has ever played, and I think that is the best prep I have seen from him, and some of the best prep I've seen in Draft League. I am so excited for the rest of these weeks. I'm glad you're back with us, Tyler, and if you want to see that next week battle, bada bing, bada boom, it's right here. You should go watch. It's exciting. Things are looking good. We're on the upswing. Woo, that was a swing. Now, you should go watch the next battle.